The moment George Russell crossed the line in the Belgian Grand Prix, silly season began. Welcome to week one of our summer silly season. It's been a very, very busy week in the news and in the theories. Put my tinfoil hat on. World of Formula One, and there's lots to talk about. So I say we just jump right into it on this episode of Overtakes with your three favorite people: Will,
Hello,
Eddie,
world.
Veronica, and we just get started.
Let's do
So,
it.
we didn't get to do an episode for the Belgian Grand Prix recap because we were all last minute crazy busy stuff. So let's just Eddie, why don't you tell us what happened to George Russell?
He won the race. Yeah, he drove really
Matt.
well. He crossed the line first, and then they said, "Just kidding," and they disqualified him because his car was too light. Poor guy. He drove a really good race though.
Do you really think that 1.5 kilos, I think it was, do we really think that made him manage his tires better? Because
Mm,
I don't really know much about Formula One.
no, I don't think so.
Poor George.
1.5 kilos. I mean, I haven't done the math, but it's like
Let's do it.
0.0001% of the total weight. You guys talk while I do the
1.5.
math.
I'm doing 1.5 kilos to pounds. We're doing this live. That's 3.3 pounds.
Yeah, but the maximum weight is 798 kilos. So 1.5 divided by 798, that is 0.18% underweight, sorry.
Poor guy. To drive the type of race he did, and then they just took
Yep.
away from him.
I mean, the rules are the rules though.
Rules are the rules, buddy.
He did deserve to get disqualified, but Mercedes should have made sure his car was heavy enough.
Yeah, what's impressive is that Hamilton was so close to him at the
Hmm.
end, and he did have two pit stops
Yeah.
versus his teammate having one.
Yeah.
Fresher
So
tires, right?
I mean, they knew that was going to happen because he's going to be so much slower on really old tires. But they did their calculations and they said, you know what? You can pull it
we're gonna get a
off.
1-2, 1-2. That's all that matters. Max points for their team, and unfortunately, it ended up being taken away from them. So
Yep. Which is
So,
kind of
just a
huge
quick
because
thing.
Mercedes was. Go ahead.
what's
Didn't
your
mean
quick
to
question?
interrupt. No, it wasn't a question. It was more like I thought we were done talking, but it said the silly season started when George Russell got disqualified.
Yeah,
I
because it
have to
happened after
disagree.
the race ended.
But I don't think this season is being pretty silly, as everybody is saying.
It's pretty silly.
It's pretty interesting than last season.
It's pretty silly, especially when we get to Red Bull. Red Bull's a shit show right now.
Yeah.
Beep.
It's a mess.
So we'll start it off with my boy then. Carlos Sainz has finally chosen a team, everybody.
Yep.
And it's probably my favorite team
Why?
because it's my husband's name.
Oh.
Who?
Williams. Carlos Sainz has chosen Williams. And I did
Carlos.
read some speculations that it is a 4-year contract
Wow.
and it is a 2-year opt out.
Carlos Sainz has chosen not to score any points for the next 2 years. It's crazy.
And if he does, let me tell you,
I'm going to say it now
Spain.
on this podcast. Bookmark it.
Hmm.
Carlos Sainz will score points next season.
Of course he will. Just not very many.
Okay, thank you. I think they're gonna go. What? They're number 9 right now, Williams.
Yes.
Okay, I think they'll probably be in the 7s, 6 or 7s next year.
Six is hard. Seven is
Seven,
I
yeah,
think they got seventh last year.
yeah.
Um, Six I think will be hard.
So I read an extensive tweet I want to tell you guys about. It was this person on Twitter who broke down every single time James Valls has spoken about Carlos Sainz
Mm-hmm.
over the past like year. So
Mm-hmm.
like you basically can see that James Valls has been like buttering him up and working really hard to get Carlos. And it's kind of nice to see him and Williams be successful in this journey because obviously he's like the best driver available, and
Mhm.
um and they did a really good job in recruiting him to join their team. And I think at one point I read in those tweets they even like fired a bunch of engineers and hired a bunch of new ones, and talking about how like they're working on making the car better and et cetera, et cetera. So I in James Valls I trust. And I remember saying a couple episodes back that I really want him to go to Williams because of like the history the team has, and that team has proven that we're not Mercedes little tester team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when they were trying to get Antonelli in earlier this season.
Yeah.
And I think that James Valls is doing some really interesting stuff over there, and it's exciting for Williams, and I'm excited for Carlos.
Not only that, but since the day, what was it, yesterday or a few days ago, that they announced it, he's been getting so much love in their social media, like Williams already, just giving them the love that he deserves. He's a Ferrari driver now, but all attention and focus is mainly on Leclerc, 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 Leclerc. And
Hmm.
on the side is Sainz. The Williams team and the fans just love him so much already, and he still has the whole rest of the season with Ferrari.
Yeah.
Good for him. It made me bring my heart to a smile because he
So,
deserves
is
that.
it safe to say that he's finally going to be a number one driver?
I don't know. I think it'll just be a good benchmark for Alex to see how good Albon really is. I
Hmm.
think that's where they're gonna start. I don't know if they'll have a number one driver.
Yeah, I feel like Carlos has never really gotten the credit that he wants, and maybe he'll get it with this team. We'll have to see. But I think you're right about that. There's going to be two drivers trying to prove um, who could be the number one, and also that's just very similar to the whole McLaren story right now. You got two drivers over there trying to say I'm number one, I'm number one, and that's really good for a team because they're scoring a ton of points.
Yep.
So
For Sainz too, though, all these past teams that he's been in, Red Bull, Renault, McLaren, Ferrari, he's always been the number two. In
pretty
my
much.
opinion, now with the move to
I,
Williams, he's the number one.
I don't know if he was a number two at McLaren. Like Lando was a rookie.
Hmm.
Yeah, but their favoritism for Lando.
Lando was their investment
Yes,
Yeah,
because
but
to me, it's the number one.
that's like if you put Kimmy in a Mercedes and say Kimmy is the number one driver, year
yeah,
one.
but
Like that's not
they're
gonna
going to
happen.
be like without saying he's going to be their number one like concern. Like, how do we make him better? Like, we got to give him some better strategies to get him up there, work up his confidence. Um, I just you can kind of feel like when a team kind of just like favors a player driver over another. And I feel like Mercedes is going to be one of that teams. I think George Russell. I don't know how long his contract is, but George Russell won't be there by the time his contract runs out. I think they're hoping that Max will go into that George Russell spot
Yeah, we'll
next to
see what
Kimmy.
happens.
That'd be fun. Max and Kimmy.
Max and Kimmy. I don't think that'll be fun.
Yeah, it'd be just so entertaining.
I don't know how good Kimmy's gonna be. I guess we'll see. He
Yeah.
did just win. He won the F2 race in
Hmm.
Spa.
First and only. So
It was really wet, and
what's
he
so
had
fun
like this
about that?
crazy overtake in Eau Rouge up the hill. It was kind of wild. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Mm-mm.
I saw it. I
Yeah,
saw it.
like nobody overtakes there, and
It
it
was
was pretty good.
ballsy.
So can we talk about Red Bull?
Let's do it.
Bring it on.
All right. Well, Red Bull confirms that they will be keeping Sergio Perez for the remainder of the 2024 season. They put their faith in Perez to rediscover his best form. Okay, let's listen to what Christian Horner has to say. Checo remains a Red Bull racing driver. Despite all the speculation of recent times, we look forward to seeing him perform on circuits where he has done well before and after summer break. What do you guys think?
It, I guess I'll go first. It kind of goes back to the conversation we had in the Checo episode of like, should they replace him? And basically, my theory was like, who are they going to put in that seat that's guaranteed to be better than Checo? And I
Mm-hmm.
think they settled on nobody. And the races coming up, Checo did really well at last year. So I mean, you have Zandvoort, which is he made the call to pit. That was the really wet race, and he made the call to pit on lap one to Inters, and he was like 20 seconds faster than everybody. And I think he ended up getting P2 or P. No, Alonso got P2. He got P3 in that race, I think. And then Monza, right? I don't know if Monza's right after, but Monza he got second last year. Azerbaijan he won last year, the sprint and the race. So I mean, the tracks coming up, he did really well at last
Favorite
year.
him. The
Yeah,
tracks coming up favorite him.
yeah.
And my thing though about this whole Checo thing, I agree with you, Eddie. Like, if they would have gotten rid of him, who they might have been back to square one, right? Like, even if it was Ricardo to be the chosen one, or which other ones people were talking about, Liam
Yuki,
Lawson's or
Liam,
Yuki and stuff like that. And what if those guys
Carlos.
didn't work out? Then they're back to square one, right? My only thing is those things that you guys pointed out before, like in his contract, it says by summer break you need to be this many points,
Mm,
this many thing. So like what? All that gets just thrown out, and they're just like, you know what? Forget the contract.
could have been
Yeah,
speculation.
it could have been speculation. It was also, if it's true, it was done at a time where Red Bull had won every race, basically, and now they're no
Mm.
longer like in the mix. So it's harder to expect Checo to keep that 100 point gap or whatever when like Max isn't even getting podiums anymore.
Mm.
True. I did see some stuff saying that Red Bull, and you hear stuff here and there, and social media posts this, and that. It's not always reliable source, but it's just interesting to see what goes around and the talks that they were considering getting rid of him, but then the whole, I think you even said it before, right? His whole Latin American like fan base and his sponsorships and Liberty Media, they make a lot of money off of his Latin, South American, Mexican crowd and all the sponsors and stuff like that. That you're like, you know what? If you guys get rid of him, it's not a very smart move. So bite the bullet, keep him on. Is that really true? I don't know. It's just I love the drama to
Yeah,
hear
I mean,
about
it
all
could
that.
be a rumor. Eddie sent that to us earlier about Liberty Media,
Yeah.
basically saying like it's in your best interest to keep Sergio. And I had read speculation wise also on Twitter that they had told Max like, "Oh, don't worry, he's gone." Like after the Belgian Grand Prix, and basically this was like caught Max by surprise because they're basically probably gonna lose by keeping Checo. They're most likely gonna lose the constructors championship at this point. Um,
I
so
don't know
we'll
if
have to
anybody
see.
can stop that though. Like they're just the third best car now, and there's still 10 races left.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one of the things that Red Bull did say is that they're gonna work with Sergio more to make the car work for him. And I'm just like, wait, why haven't you been doing that already? Like the car isn't just for Max Verstappen. Like you have another driver. So I don't know. We'll see if there's any difference during the season when it comes to that. I'm just caught by surprise when I saw that news. I was just like, really? Like, I get what you're saying, like, who's going to replace him? But it could have been a nice opportunity for Yuki, maybe, or Lawson. I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird one, definitely. So, whatever. But there was more Red Bull drama today. I believe it was today. The news dropped that Jonathan Wheatley will be departing from Red Bull to join Audi as their team principal at the end of this season. So what's interesting is that this news was leaked from Red Bull and not Audi. And Audi was like, "Whoa, y'all caught me by surprise," because like we weren't ready to announce this. But Red Bull was like, "We were." So there's some like
Damn, for real?
catty, scratchy stuff going on between Red Bull. It just seems like we're witnessing the collapse of Red Bull. Like Newey's leaving. We had the whole stuff with Horner in the beginning of the season, and then now Jonathan Wheatley's gonna leave, and the car is just not performing. Their second driver's terrible this season. What else? What else can happen? Like,
They win the drivers' championship.
Hmm. It's gonna be really hard now. Now that they don't have like Adrian Newey's not working on the car anymore,
mm-mm,
and now their sporting director, which basically runs the whole team, like every operation, they're no longer going to involve him in like decision making because he's leaving.
mm-hmm,
So they have. I mean, they said confident like, oh, we have a lot of people waiting in the wings and blah blah blah. But
but I think you have to say that. You have to like put up a front. Like his exact words were, this is what Christian Horner said: Red Bull Racing have tremendous strength and depth, and this provides opportunity to elevate others within our team. We will announce a new team structure in the coming weeks. Like, of course you're gonna say that because now you have your main driver Max Verstappen, like reading all the news, going like, "What else? You know, like what's going on over here?" And then you have Total Wolf in the corner, like, "Hey, Max, like we don't got any of that stuff going on over here." So like it's just like of course Christian Horner is gonna come out and say like, "Oh, we have plenty of structure and strength inside of our company. Like we will let you guys know who's gonna replace him. Everything's just fine." Like of course you're gonna say that when everything's burning. They're not gonna be over here like, "We're struggling, help us." Like, yeah, okay.
yeah,
I heard Toto texted Max and said, "Hey, you can sim race anytime you want. Come on over."
that
yeah.
would that would be have to be in the contract for sure.
It's hard to imagine Max actually staying there until 2028 when his contract is for like that's when his contract is up. But I mean, it's so hard to imagine that actually happening now that everybody's bailing.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Do we know when his opt out is?
I mean, knowing I don't know, but knowing Max, there's probably one every year.
Interesting.
Um, it's just kind of wild. First of all, I don't understand why Red Bull didn't publicly show any interest in getting Carlos. It's very
Mm-hmm.
strange. Um, that's the main weird thing in my mind. That
Yeah.
Carlos, that there's an open seat at Mercedes, there's an open seat at Red Bull, and I mean not actually open, obviously, but and he ends up at Williams, which is I mean James Valls must be he's the driver whisperer, I guess. He knows how to say all the he's knows how to say all the right things
Yep.
because the team looks a lot worse this year than they did last year, and they managed to get Carlos, unless Mercedes and Red Bull didn't actually go after him.
It was all speculation
Yeah,
at the
Mhm.
time during the beginning of the season when all that stuff was happening.
And Alpine too, right? Alpine, like, hey,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
gone.
but I mean Alpine and Williams are like kind of the same. Like Alpine is hemorrhaging right now too. Like they're Bruno Famine fired himself basically, and then they're losing
he's
Renault
like,
as
I
their
can't
engine
do this
producer.
anymore, guys. I'm going back to my desk job.
Like Renault's gonna leave Formula One entirely. It looks like.
hmm It just felt like that organization was burning down more than than Williams is. Williams still looks like they're like, yeah, we're going through something right now, but we're gonna fight through it. And Alpine's like, everything needs to be replaced. So
Seriously.
I can get why like you a little bit more calm to make the
Yeah.
Williams choice.
Speaking of Alpine,
Ooh.
Jack Doohan is on the verge of signing a deal with them to race alongside Pierre Gasly next year. I've been
Yeah.
seeing a lot of different sources saying that that's going to happen. So far, I have not seen it announced by Alpine or F1. And typically, I only consider those news real when I see either of those sources, either the team themselves or F1 announce it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
But would be cool.
a couple weeks
Jack.
back he tested the car with what's this guy's son's name? Mick Schumacher.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think the Mick Schumacher thing was like just a favor, but I for sure Alpine has interest in Duhan, so I could see it happening.
Yeah, I think Mick is trying to get back into F1, but I mean, there's not really many opportunities left. And honestly, I don't know how like if he's good enough. But the Jack Doohan thing is kind of wild because I mean Renault doesn't usually promote junior drivers, as we saw with Oscar last year or 2 years ago when they're like, "Hey, we're gonna promote Oscar," and Oscar said, "Whoa,
No, I'm
whoa,
not.
whoa, no, no, I'm a McLaren
I'm
driver
leaving.
now." And the reason he did that was because he saw no future in
Hmm.
Alpine. Like he didn't think they were gonna
Man.
ever promote him
That was
because they
so
don't
funny
actually
that
promote
Oscar
junior
did that.
drivers.
Yeah, guys, I have problems with Oscar.
Is that he's better than Lando? That's your problem.
So like I've come to love this like McLaren team, but I've also learned to love Norris,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
so excited for him that he's like finally like
In a winning
coming
car.
out. Yeah, and he got his first win, and it was just so much fun, like to be part of all that. And it's just been kind of like on a little downward lately. And then Oscar's like, "Hey, I'm still here," and and I'm happy for the team, but like I just wish like Norris was number one. But it's so clear that like he is very close to not being number one. That they just have two really good drivers that they're gonna let both of them race, and like one of them is just gonna outrace the other, which is happening this season. Like right now at this point, Oscar has outraced him very much.
Hmm.
Um and it
Not
feels
only
like
that, sorry to cut you
no,
off,
go ahead.
but in the races where Lando has beaten Oscar, a lot of the times it's because they screw up Oscar's strategy to help Lando.
True, true.
Like Lando's never been screwed on strategy.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I saw a crazy stat that in the last 17 races, Lando hasn't gained a position on lap
I
one.
saw that.
Did you see that? That he had 7 races where after lap one, he kept the same position, and he had 10 races where he lost at least one position.
I saved it on my Twitter. I'm gonna
Yep.
see if I can find it. I liked it. Yeah, it's freaking crazy. Um, that he hasn't been able to keep the lead or something like that.
Ever since ever since Hungary, it seems like Lando's head is not in the game.
It's
Like he just looks
frustrating.
dejected, worn out. Like he can't wait for the summer break.
Did you guys see when like what was the race after the one after Miami where he like almost won?
Imola,
Yeah, that one was fun because he was like about to catch him.
yeah, Max won by like 1.2 seconds or something. No, maybe less. No, yeah, because Lando had DRS, so it was probably like half a second.
Yeah, he just needed a little bit more and he
Yeah,
was
he
gonna
needed
catch
like
him.
2 more laps, maybe.
Yeah. No, I can't find the tweet. I don't want to just like sit here and like search for it.
It's all good.
But I
But
did see
since
it and it was crazy the stat.
yeah, since we're talking about McLaren, we can mention that Andrea Stella, their team principal,
Ah,
re-signed a multi-year contract extension.
good for him. I like him.
Yeah, I think he's doing really well.
Been making moves.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other team that is getting close to, s- signing their final driver is Mercedes. There's more speculation that they're getting close to finishing their contract with Kimi Antonelli, which we can then transition to looking at the 2025 driver lineups that our good friends over at Formula One had loved to put together for us. So, what do you guys think?
I think there's 4 seats open, and I think there's 6 drivers. I'm including Liam Lawson in this as an honorable mention, who
Hmm.
are virtually on the grid because Lawson's like guaranteed a contract basically. Who don't have a drive yet for next year, and that's Valtteri, K Mag, Joe, Logan Sargent, Daniel Ricciardo, and Liam Lawson. And there's only
Okay,
4 seats left. And
how
apparently
about
Jack
this?
Doohan's getting the Alpine seat. So 3
Exactly.
drivers are gone.
And no, and put Kimi Antonelli next to Russell. So you only have 2 seats.
Maybe. I don't know how much I believe that one. But I mean, out of the drivers left, I guess who's going to go to Mercedes?
Let me
Nobody.
see your list. Bottas, no. Been there, done that. Magnussen, no. Zoo, no. Sargent, no. Ricardo, no. No, man, they're going Kimi Antonelli.
Mercedes is going in as a single team, a single
So
driver
there's
team.
No.
so there's 2 drivers. Sorry, there's 2 seats and 6 drivers. Who do you got? Go.
Okay, for RB, Lawson. For kick,
Oh,
oof. It's not gonna be, well, either you sign Botas again, or you bring in Ricardo.
I think they're going to re-sign Valtteri.
Yeah.
Um, but I can't imagine Daniel Ricciardo doesn't have a seat next year from how hard they
I
tried
can
to.
see him not being.
So what I think is going to happen is I think Checo's gone. Then you're going to have either Daniel Ricciardo or Liam Lawson in that seat.
Okay.
And they might do a 1-for-1 swap with RB and just put Checo in on RB.
What?
I think so. I mean, it's either that or he doesn't have a
Just to
seat.
keep the fan base happy.
It's either that or he doesn't have a seat.
Keep them in circulation.
Hmm.
And
Damn.
then if you guys really think Kimmy, I mean, I guess he's the only option that Mercedes seems to be interested. They're still holding out for Max, obviously,
Yeah, but I
but
think
I
that's
don't.
Russell's spot.
Yeah, I don't. Russell.
Yeah, like I think if in the future if they get Max, it's gonna be Kimmy and Max. I don't think it's gonna be
Oh,
Russell and Max.
if they had the opportunity to put Russell and Max next to each other, I think they would do that over getting Kimmy.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
not gonna
They would
happen
find
right
they would
now.
find a way to get him into Williams
Max is not leaving Red Bull right now, so
or
they
an
gotta fill
Alpine or
that Kimmy
something.
seat.
No, they would find a way to get Kimmy a seat.
Will, what do you think?
Zoe, I'm sorry. Get out of here. Botas, I still would like to see him. K Mag, dude, you got too many points in your license. Keep it up and you're out of here, in my opinion. Sergeant,
He's done.
come to Indy. America likes you. Just come do your thing over here. Lawson, I want to see Lawson in an RB.
Yeah.
So
What I
I
think is going
think
to
too many
happen.
drivers that I want to see, and not that many seats left. So
Yeah,
and
it's either
Ricardo,
going to be
mm,
Lawson to kick or it's going to be Valtteri getting re-signed with Sauber.
You think RB's gonna let go of Lawson?
I think that if they can't find him, if they can't find a play, like if at the end of the season they decide that they want to stick with Daniel Ricciardo, then yes.
So what you're saying is that these 4 seats, I think Alpine is gonna close soon. So then these 3 seats might just remain open until the end of the season to see what happens.
Yeah, I
I
don't know
can see
about the
that.
Mercedes seat, but I think the RB and the
And
Sauber
the
seat
kick.
stay open until the end of the season.
I can see that. I can see that. But just look at this drivers lineup. I mean, that's exciting. Like I'm excited for next season. Excuse me. I
Yeah,
mean, that looks fun. The only thing I'm not excited about is Lance Stroll, but I mean, we're kind of stuck with that.
I mean,
What do you mean? He's one of the 20 best drivers in the world. The system,
Okay.
the system. Wait, the system is designed to keep the 20 best drivers employed in Formula One and get rid of the people who can't cut it.
he's quoting Lawrence Stroll, by the way.
I'm quoting Lance Stroll. He said
I
it
just took a little
himself.
nap real quick.
No,
Eddie
you're
put me to
quoting
sleep.
Lawrence Stroll. You know what I want to see just to make it fun? Who do we say has the best car right now? Like right now.
McLaren.
Team. Is it
McLaren.
McLaren?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's put Zoe in a McLaren and put No, I'm serious here. Put Zoe in a McLaren. Who else are we like debating? Like put Stroll in a McLaren too. Let's see what y'all got. And then put Max in a McLaren versus, that's how you decide if people are good drivers or not. Because people keep saying, oh, Sargent and a Williams, we really can't see his potential. Zoe's in a Sauber, not even Bottas can score. And it's like, all right, I get it, but all right, let's put these people in a McLaren then. If it was only possible,
I
What-
agree with you and I disagree with you because that'd be like saying, all right, so Williams lineup right now. No, let's keep going with your kick one. You got Bottas and Zoe, right? That's like saying, let's see how good Zoe really is and put him in a McLaren. You don't even have to go that far. Look at his teammate. He's so much better than him. How about you put Bottas in a McLaren and see how good Bottas is? Because we already know that Bottas is better than Zoe.
How about we put Max in a Sauber and see if he can score some points?
Damn.
Damn! Wins by like 10 seconds.
Oh man, can you imagine what the radio would sound like to see him in one of those cars?
This car is so. I can't.
Beep,
Too many
this
beeps.
Beep, beep,
beep
beep,
doesn't turn this. I'm driving a whale. Max, it's childish of you. Stop whining.
Uh, that was good. That was a good one.
If I were Lando, I'd be very scared. That's all. That's my last thought.
Why?
Piastri's too good.
Piastri's really good. He's really good. You know what? Piastri has one thing to figure out, and if he hasn't figured it out by now, he's about to figure it out completely. Tire management,
Yeah,
and he is.
but
going to
Piastri has
be
that.
very
Piastri has that
good.
dog in him.
Yeah,
He's willing to fight for positions, make risky overtakes. He looks a lot like a young Max Verstappen. You know what I'm saying? Except he doesn't crash as much. Except when Carlos
Can I
crashed into
say-
him like 3 times last year.
I want to say something else.
go.
Hold on, he's also the only person who's raced every lap this year, I think.
I can't confirm or deny.
Go
Will, what
ahead,
do you
Will.
want to say?
So looking at this driver lineup picture here, Hamilton and Ferrari, right? I'm kind of like anxious just to see what's going to happen. But you know what I think is going to happen? I think it'll be the same situation you guys didn't watch back then. When Schumacher first started in Ferrari. And if I'm not mistaken, it was the first 2 seasons he was there at Ferrari. They just couldn't figure it out, and he wasn't winning, projected to win. He just wasn't winning. And then I think the same thing is going to happen next year with this whole, they don't have the best car right now in this whole thing. I just think it's going to be a silly season for Hamilton next year with Ferrari. But once they get their thing together, I think, I don't know how long he's going to be in Ferrari for as well, long term. But if they do figure it out and Hamilton does bring his inputs to the team and the car and stuff like that, then I'll think they'll start winning a few championships. That's what I think is going to happen. Because that's what happened with Schumacher.
He's going to be 40 next year. I don't know how much time he has to figure that car out.
Right. But I for sure next year it's not going to be like he's winning the championship with Ferrari. That's not going to happen.
Well, yeah, because
Yep.
Ferrari can't win the championship.
But I think it'll be like all of next season will be like a testing thing here and there. But then here's the thing, 2026, everything changes, right? So, ooh.
Yeah, I think that you're onto something. I haven't really expected much from Hamilton and Ferrari. Like I'm not going into it being like this is hype. Like this is like when LeBron joined the Miami Heat. Like we're gonna win it all. Like I don't feel that way.
And then that first season we didn't win, right?
No,
Remember
we
that?
won the first season.
No,
Not the
they
first season
Oh,
lost.
you're
LeBron
right. It
joined,
was versus Dallas.
right?
Yeah.
So then after that, then they got the ball rolling. That's what I think might happen, except with this whole
Mhm.
2026, you know,
But that only
change.
happens if Adrian Newey goes to Ferrari, and there's been speculation that that contract is not happening. So
Listen, nobody knows what's going to happen in 2026. Haas might have the best car in 2026.
Audi might come and just be like,
That's
bam.
true.
well,
Unlikely, but true.
I did. I know this is like a little late, but I found the stat that we were talking about on Twitter. This is a very bad stat to have. Lando Norris has not gained a single possession on lap one in all of the 17 races this season. There have been 7 races where he's lost position and 10 races where he's stayed in position,
Oh, that's including the sprints, I'm assuming.
most likely. So that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Homie doesn't know how to start, and he struggles with his finish.
Once he fixes his starts, he can think about winning some more races.
Okay. Watch out, Piastri.
Piastri's good, man. So
I
good.
think
Oh.
Piastri's super talented.
Speaking of Piastri, did you guys see that Piastri's in the Olympics?
I did not.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna put it right under the driver's lineup so you guys can see. It looks like he's doing some gymnastics.
Oh.
Yeah, look how good he looks, guys. He is really putting it out there. And you know, Piastri had to Piastri had to go to Twitter actually to confirm that that's not him. You know, he's actually really
Jesus
funny on
Christ.
Twitter.
Somebody should have photoshopped the McLaren logo on those
That's funny. On the pants, on the orange pants.
spandex.
Yeah. No, he confirmed that it is not him. He said, "I can't confirm I am not competing at the Olympics." That's exactly his words. But what's funny is he's not the only Formula One driver from the grid at the Olympics. Right underneath him, you guys will see that Valtteri Bottas is also. He's also
Oh
competing.
my god.
Team USA. What the hell is that sport called? I forgot.
It's called curling.
And they played in the summer.
That's so funny.
So yeah, I wanted to share those with you guys.
That's hilarious. Jeez.
So
Photoshop a kick logo on that.
the kick logo on him.
Uh,
Well, was there anything else you guys wanted to talk about? I think we covered, if not
Everything.
almost everything.
Yep.
I do want to say whoever made it this far into watching this, we're gonna take a small break. Veronica's about to give birth. This is the last time we shoot a podcast with her pregnant. On the next one, I'm pretty sure we'll have our little
have a
baby girl
baby.
Serena here.
Oh snap!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna I don't want it to put the podcast on a pause. Like we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna watch Formula One. So we'll figure it out.
Well, we're on
But
summer break right now, so we got
Yeah.
a little break.
I had a question for you guys before we go. Do you guys think that week 2 of summer silly season will have just as much news as week 1?
No. I think week 4 will.
Oh, okay.
What was the question? I was distracted with this Valtteri Bottas picture. What was the question? Just let me scroll up on it.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
What's the
Do
question?
you think week 2 is gonna have just as much news as week 1
What do you mean week 2?
of summer silly season?
Oh, like the comeback?
Yeah. Forget it.
Like the second half?
Thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah. This is what I deal with. This is amazing. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Overtakes. Just help us out.
I keep scrolling to that picture.
Stop.
Uh,
Uh, do us a favor. Like, subscribe, go to
Leave
our
a comment.
socials.
I want to read comments.
I know you guys haven't said a word. I don't think anybody makes it to the end of these.
No.
Mom, if you're watching, can you leave a comment like you did on our last one?
Yeah, just tell us how much you love us, Marcia. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the summer break, and we hope to be back with some more news, so we can all hang out together. So, bye bye.
Bye everybody.
Bye, world.